What is up, everybody? Aaron and Abby here with Why We Love Horror review of Dangerous Animals. And here's the poster right here. We're not doing trailers anymore to avoid any mishaps with those. We're reviewing Dangerous Animals today, directed by Sean Byrne. What are your initial thoughts kind of going into this movie, Abby?
I didn't know a whole lot about this. I had seen the trailer and I thought, oh, there's a new shark movie is going to be out. I didn't really think too much of it. I was like, I'm sure it'll be fine. I did really enjoy it though. I think that this is definitely a movie that is worth watching. We both do like this director, or at least I like at least one of his other movies. I like The Loved Ones. He did The Loved Ones and The Devil's Candy. Devil's Candy, I didn't like that one as much, but The Loved Ones, really like that. So when I also heard that this director was doing, the director of those movies were doing this, I was interested.
Yeah, pretty much the same with regards to going into the movie. I definitely heard some more positive things getting closer to it. Without spoiling too much, I can see why. I had a good time with this movie, and I'm glad we saw it in theaters as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a movie that if you missed in theaters, depending on when you're watching this, I still think it's worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
General plot: a surfer girl played by Hassie Haddon or something, I believe is
Something like that.
I believe her name is Hassie Haddon.
She hasn't been in much.
Yeah.
Hassie
Harrison. She plays the main girl. She's a surfer who ends up coming across this character, Tucker, played by Jai Courtney, who is the star of the movie, needless to say.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has some kind of different ways of dealing with, his guests, you could say.
I mean, in the trailer shows that Jai Courtney's character is a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the big takeaway, I guess, from me in this movie is that they kind of advertise it. Oh, I don't know. There is a lot of advertising this as like a shark movie. It kind of is. I think it's more of like a serial killer type movie where the guy just really, really loves sharks, and wants to use them in his murder methods. I think Jai Courtney, yeah, he was really, really good in this movie. I think I like him being in these like goofier, because I wouldn't call this movie a comedy, but he's very silly in this movie. So I like this version of him a little bit more rather than the action star that they were trying to turn him into a couple of years back. There's a lot of moments where when he's getting ready, I guess I'm not really gonna go. I mean, we know he uses sharks as his like murder method, but not going to go like too much into detail about like what exactly he does. But he'll just like go on these diatribes about sharks before actually going forth with the murder, which I think it's just a lot of it just comes off as really goofy, but it's a fun type of goofy. Like I enjoyed it, and you could tell that he was enjoying it and having a really good time with it, which it just makes for like a fun movie.
Yeah, no, I think that the tone of this movie is very much like a B kind of movie tone. It did remind me in some ways of Deep Blue Sea, but I feel like kind of viewed through the modern lens. When Deep Blue Sea came out, it was like a dead serious movie. I know it's kind of made fun of now more, but when it came out, it was like taking itself, and it does take itself really seriously. And this movie takes a step back as things go, especially I think towards the last part of this third of this movie. I think that mileage will vary for some people because like there's some like I want to say like on purpose bad CGI of the sharks because like it feels like it's trying to be campy because it's showing it so much. I don't feel like it's showing it to be like, well, this is like impressive.
I think for the most part, like when like there's a couple like underwater shots where people are like underwater or like the camera is like looking underwater, and I think the sharks look good then.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree. There's one in particular in the end that like to me looked really like
it looked like a screensaver.
It really didn't look good.
And I feel like I'm giving it maybe credit because I wanted to like this. I wanted to like this movie by that point. I feel like that was on purpose.
I could see that. I mean,
if it was a dolphin, it'd be on porpoise.
It's not enough to make me like dislike the movie because there are some really good looking like sharks throughout the movie. But again, there's like one in particular at the very end, like one moment where I'm like, that looks pretty bad. But otherwise, like I said, it looks good. And there's some really good like death scenes in this movie too. Mm-hmm. One in particular, again, we have the spoiler banner up, but I guess one of the things that they set up in this movie is in the very beginning, there's a couple that end up on Jai Courtney's ship. Mm-hmm. They are there to go cage diving with sharks, and he's like the person to help them do it. In the beginning, Jai Courtney just kills the guy off, feeds him to sharks, but then he keeps the girl captive. And the girl, when she eventually meets her end, where Jai Courtney feeds her to the sharks, I think that scene is pretty good. Like it's a pretty brutal, good kill. Which I think that there's a decent amount of brutality in this movie and gore that I think people will enjoy. Maybe not as much as say The Loved Ones. I think that one goes pretty far. I don't think that it's as brutal as that movie, but I think there's some good deaths and some good kills in this movie.
Yeah, definitely. I think it definitely is an improvement from The Devil's Candy, for sure as well, which I do think was Sean Byrne just trying something different that didn't work. I also want to give a shout out to Moses, the character Moses, just because that's my mom's dog's name. And I did think he was a decent side. I thought all the characters were good. I thought they were well acted, which in a movie like this isn't like a given. I feel like, especially the lead, she does look like Jennifer Hudson or Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, you said that when we were walking out.
And I don't think she like is a terrible actress either. I think she's going to be in more stuff as she goes forward because she was just in like Southbound. So
yeah. I think she was decent enough. Like they really like her character. They really try to hammer home the fact that she's this like free spirited hippie surfer girl who has nothing and is strong and needs to get out of this situation. Like they really, really want you to know that. And I think for the most part, like she does that really well. I mean, I think some of like her moments, I'm like, okay, like I didn't buy it fully. But I think for the most part, like she did what she needed to do in the movie. I think everybody was pretty good.
Yeah. So any other thoughts on any of the kills, characters, the movie before we move on to our ratings?
I will say one of the things that I did take notice to towards the end that I could see people maybe criticizing or giving this as a negative is towards the end, there's a little bit of repetition that goes on. A lot of like, oh, she's gonna get out of this. Like she like kind of escapes from Jai Courtney's ship, but then last minute he, gets her back or some type of stupid mistake happens and she ends up not getting away. That happens like 3 different times at the end of this movie. Again, if I had to give another criticism besides the really bad looking shark at the very end of the movie, I would say that. But otherwise, like I think that this is a really fun, summery kind of horror movie. Again, if you like sharks, I mean, sharks aren't like the main focus. It really is a serial killer movie. But I think you'll enjoy this if you like that type of thing.
Yeah, no, pretty much agree. Yeah, I don't have too many other thoughts. I liked most of the characters. For some reason, this movie it does have a charm to it to where, like, often I get annoyed when I know, certain characters are safe. Here, I didn't mind. I guess I just really liked the main character, and I was okay with it. Maybe here for whatever reason, it just worked for me. And yeah, good times. I would watch this again for sure, and I do think watching it in a theater helped, like with most movies. Let's get to those ratings right now. All right, Abby, I'll go to you first with your rating for this movie.
Yeah, so I mean, this is not like the greatest movie of all time. I think Aaron had a really good comparison. Like, this is very similar. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Deep Blue Sea, but like, I think this is kind of how a lot of people will compare, where it's just like kind of a dumb, schlocky shark movie. But again, I would watch it again. I did really enjoy it. I think it's going to be on Shudder. I don't know when, but if you can't see it in the theater, I mean, definitely watch it on Shudder. I gave it a 3.5.
All right. Yeah, I had a very good time with this. I didn't know quite what to expect going in with the praise, especially, but it's my favorite Jai Courtney role ever. My favorite Hassie Harrison role ever. Whoever played Moses as well, my favorite role of theirs, and not my favorite Sean Byrne movie, but very close, honestly. And The Loved Ones is just, one that has a special spot in both of our hearts for sure. Abby introducing me to that movie a few years ago, and I'm going to give this a 4 videotapes out of 5. I'd watch this again. I had a great time with it, and I highly doubt we go down on a rewatch. I think it would just be a movie that, like, when I was in the mood, I'd put this on over Deep Blue Sea, which I grew up with. So, and I love Deep Blue Sea. So, unnecessary comparison there. If you are still with us, thank you. Like and subscribe. Go ahead and join us over at the Letterboxd Why We Love Horror Letterboxd Challenge. There's the link right there. We also have a show that is on Thursday night, premiering on the channel. Since now we have reviews coming out at any time, as you can see. In that show, we go over each week's list in a little more detail there. So that's for the Why We Love Horror Letterboxd Challenge. Mondays versus with John and Will. Tuesdays, Why We Loves Horror. Wednesdays, Aaron Unwinds. I am wrapping up the Evil Bong series, thank God. And I am moving on to, I'm going to officially announce it, the Friday the 13th franchise, all of them, including Freddy vs. Jason, because why not? So that hopefully will go a little better. Should have some guests on for that as well. Thursdays, as I said, the Why We Love Horror Letterboxd Challenge watch-along show, where each week we go through our 3 movies or 2 movies, or however many movies we watch, and a little more detail there. Fridays, 2 Why We Love Horror Trivia Challenge videos, not challenge, nothing about challenge. So Why I Love Horror Trivia videos. So that's everything here, folks. Thank you so much for the support. See you later.